United States submarine base at Key West, Florida. A dispatch that quoted President Truman's press secretary, Charles Ross, as saying that President Truman has no knowledge of any secret project by this government that would give substance to the existence of such objects. Ross also said that both the Air Force and the Navy deny that such...
I hope this is like riding a bike.
Is it? I feel like you roasting me for how I sound when I breathe was pretty familiar. Didn't seem like you lost that flair at all.
Because I wish you could hear it. It's crazy. It's the most dramatic sound I've ever heard in my life. It sounds almost intentional, and I know it's not, and that's why I tell you.
It's wild because I don't feel like I'm doing anything, but then if I hear recordings of myself, I'm like, I sound like Cora.
You do, and I'm just trying to help.
I know.
So.
In a very mean-spirited way, but I accept it graciously.
Well, it's because I have to call it. I'm like, right there.
Yeah.
I'm like, right there.
I know. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, Noelle will be like, just say words, say sentences, and I'll be like, I'm doing the best I can. She's like, shut the fuck up, you just did it. Shut up, you're right there. Right there. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to try to not do it, though. Really, I
appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm going to, like, try to breathe through one nostril. I'm going to try to absorb air.
Well, that's the problem. It doesn't sound like it's coming through your nostrils. It sounds like gasp of air out of your mouth.
I don't breathe through my nostrils. I breathe through my mouth.
I know, I can tell.
My nostrils collapse if I try to breathe through them. Look, I'm going to get close to the camera.
Oh, God.
They collapse.
That's one of the most disturbing things I can see. Oh, dear God.
It's like someone clenching their tiny little butthole twice on my face.
And only one of them. The other one didn't look like it moved at all. Okay.
But it's now that I have those piercings in, they kind of hold it open.
Dear God.
That doesn't matter.
Well, hope that you see a doctor soon. Hey, what's up? My name's Noelle, and I saw a tweet today that said, and sorry, I don't remember who said it. Sorry to that person. But it said, I believe all men should start in jail and then have to earn their way out.
Mm-hmm. Get out on good behavior.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Who are you?
I am Chelsea. I am the feeling of a gray-washed world after reading a book that does not end the way that I wanted it to.
That's what you get for being over 30 and reading a YA novel that
you told me about it
20 years ago. I know, because they did a modern twist on it for a movie. I didn't think you would actually go and read it, and that was my bad. I forgot that you're an ambitious reader.
Well, I did bully Ichabod into downloading it, so he's going to read it so that I have someone to like actively complain. I was begging people to talk to me about it, and nobody has. I don't know.
Because no one's read that fucking book, girl. Barely anyone has read the Hunger Games actual books, let alone the prequel.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people read the Hunger Games. The first one, at least.
The first one, yeah. Everyone read the first one, but that's where that train stopped.
It's just kind of like Divergent and Twilight, you know what I mean? Like, everybody reads the first one, and then, like, it tapers off towards the end as you get into it.
No, exactly. So, but proud of you. Look at you. Another book in the pocket for the year of 2023.
Yep.
What a perfect way to spend your day.
Yeah, now I'm just
reading the Hunger Games.
Walking around my neighborhood in silence, just feeling so unsatisfied.
Maybe write her a letter. That seemed to do Stephanie Meyer real well.
Should I? I want her to I just want to be like, what's your fucking problem? And then I'll send that to her.
I think you should just send that.
Well,
I think
it's a bummer.
A good idea.
It was so well written, right? I did not get young adult vibe from it. It seems like it kind of aged up with its audience, especially as we talked on Patreon. Some of the tones were definitely, or some of the themes of the book were definitely adult. And it's just, you want
to know what one of the hardest things to do is?
Move on.
End the story. So I bet she was just like, you know what? I'm not going to. I'm just going to end it right here and do nothing. And I'm not going to follow up on any of my characters because I just don't care. And you have to respect her for that.
No. I don't want to.
She let it go. Literally, she let it go.
did.
And then she published it and was like, that's how much I don't care. So,
And she just laughed the whole way to the bank. Well, I hope my letter finds her mildly unwell, such as I.
yeah, I hope this email finds you hiding under your desk shivering as you get bombarded with emails like this from the creeps who are reading this for the first time in 10 years.
Yeah, I hope this email finds you with hay fever.
Yeah.
Also, I'm going to apologize. The noise I am going to apologize for is my chair.
You are just a mess right now.
It's been broken since I fell. I ripped it off when and it's just been a long legacy of it being squeaky. I'm going to try to just
WD-40 on that bitch or something.
Well, you know what? As a married woman or an engaged woman, I expect my husband to manage the house in such matters, and he isn't doing it. So,
well, the war on women continues.
It does.
Speaking of the war on women, let's talk about something completely unrelated.
Kind of related.
I mean, kind of. So last we spoke many moons ago was the introductory into Italian folklore, which is our first stop on our journey, I'd like to say, into trying to find unproblematic culture. Or maybe, I guess, the real word should be culture before it was bastardized.
Yeah, before the missionaries came in. And missionaries can be on missions from whatever other cultures you want, but a lot of this stuff has been so watered down.
Exactly. And I feel like we are diving into this. I surprisingly loved this. I guess just like how when you were in Rome seeing the Colosseum, it was like almost a weight that you can't begin to carry, or a thread you can't even begin to unravel, or whatever other colloquialism you want to put there, about like there's so much history that you can't even comprehend it. Like our brains can only really see this world of a Christian point of view, essentially, like Christian-based globalism or Christian-based colonialism. Like we can't really like see past that. Like all of our history, and even our history's history, our ancestral history, we can only fathom that tiny little scope that's all based off of, after Christ timing. Yeah. Even the way that we speak of the year in which we are living in is based off of what ends up being Christian colonialism. So of course, like thinking that there was ever something before that in which culture was individualized and plentiful and unique, and every region had their own takes on it. It's hard, especially when tied to a country like Italy, which has the all-knowing sea in the middle of it, or the hub of the Catholic Church. It's like, to think that it was ever something different, I could never fathom or begin to fathom. So I'm excited to talk about this, and I'm excited to learn about, I guess, like other folk traditions from other countries and cultures. And it's upsetting once again to see like what we now think of as like Catholic Mecca. It was once not. It was once like this rich and culturally diverse and unique landscape of people. And I don't know, it's so interesting. It's like thinking that like Utah used to be somewhere else other than like the Mecca of Mormons. Like it used to have something here.
And there's like a lingering disappointment, melancholy, or sadness too. Like when you think about what a place could have been had it been allowed to exist organically or naturally with its own culture. And like, it's not to like, I don't want to shit on Florence or anything, because it's a beautiful place. I'm not saying it's ruined by religion, but you could see tidbits of like the statue of Perseus holding Medusa's head next to all these like Christian statues that were put in later. And you're like, fuck, dude, what would the world be like if mythology prevailed? And I think that with folklore, we get to see like snippets of what could have been. And what we have now, especially you and I living in Utah, is well, my shorts aren't allowed to be that short in the summertime or I'll get weird looks. It's like, man, what overall cultural influences could have changed my reality had they been allowed to flourish?
Yeah, I think that's the question, right? Without this, without the dominating violent sword of religious colonialism, what would have been? Who would humanity be? I think there's that historical link between what was into like they've found essentially evidence of Roman fast food restaurants. Like we were there, like culture was there, humanity and civilization was there, and then it collapsed and rebuilt on the backs of Christian colonialism. And then we go into a literal dark age, and it's almost like we have to rebuild again. So if there wasn't that like chokehold of religion and societies were allowed to just flourish on their own, like you said, it would be interesting to see who we would be today and what we would have accomplished. It's curious, it's depressing.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. I'm just gonna say last week for my poor brain cells trying to smash together, but it definitely wasn't. Last week we talked about the Benedica, which means way of blessing. And this is like a group of Italian folk practitioners, and specifically in southern Italy and Sicily. And this term, the Benedica, is a new term that gives a blanket statement to this like new, loosely related, family-based folk tradition. That's specific to this region.
It's like how we say Appalachian backwoods magic or whatever.
Exactly. It's like, it's just an overarching thing. And a lot of different families have different practices that they do and partake in, or traditions that they do and partake in. But this is just the blanket term for people who practice like folk tradition in the areas in southern Italy. And specifically, there's a lot of Sicilian specific ones. Okay, perfect. We learned before, as we will always learn, before religious Christian Catholic colonialism, most places had rich traditions, beliefs, practices, and what some may call superstition or folklore. In southern Italy, these roots can go back beyond the Neolithic period, which is the latter part of the Stone Age when ground or polished stone weapons and fixed human settlements appeared. Which this threw me off, which is why I put that definition. When I think Neolithic period, I think of like walking out of the caves essentially. But when you look up examples of like the Neolithic period, it's essentially like, how could you explain this? Countryside towns.
Yeah, it's just everything was rocks.
Yeah.
There's still some of those towns in Italy.
Oh, I bet.
And like it's cool too, because like just here's a little tidbit. If someone ever puts a gun to your head and asks if they had disposable cups during the Neolithic era, you can say yes. They're called like the beaker cups, and they're found on routes where people would travel, like on trade routes back then. And they were these tiny little like shitty stone cups people would have, and they'd drink from them, and then they would just toss them, and they find them all over the place.
Oh, there's one thing we've always been certain of, and it's that we are a littering society.
Yep.
We also learn, see, and experience in modern times the bastardization of these old world traditions. A recent example being the pagan spring equinox celebrations becoming what is now Christian Easter. Christianity has been in Italy for at least 2,000 years. As we know, the Catholic Church has an interesting relationship with Italy. It's hard to imagine Italy as anything other than Catholic. But before religious colonialism, the people practiced forms of animism, which is the idea that all things animate and inanimate possess a spirit or an essence, which I think is a super cool ideology. And this practice is seen in many ancient religions, especially of indigenous tribal cultures around the world.
Yeah.
So this is like
Pocahontas sang about it too.
exactly my girl Pocahontas be knowing, but this is like understanding, respecting, adorning not just individuals, not just animals, but also like things and the trees and just respecting everything, which I think is super cool.
It's like in Fern Gully where they're like, can't you feel the tree's pain? Because he's carving in it. Never carved into a tree after that.
Yeah, you shouldn't, honestly.
Yeah.
Don't step on bugs. Same thing. And of course, they also practice polytheism, similar to that of Greece. Ancient Roman gods include Jupiter, Minerva, Venus, Diana, Mercury, and Mars. The Roman Republic and later the Roman Empire left the question of spirituality in the hands of the people and maintained religious tolerance so long as they accepted the birthright divinity of the emperor, which was kind of slay of them if you think about it. Mm-hmm. The Romans did a lot of horrible shit, obviously, but the one thing this is another interesting historical lens, right? Whereas today, it seems like we are fighting for, like, religion keeps becoming the priority over everything else. Like, religion and then, like, people in power, rules, laws, legislation, individual choice and freedom, whatever. But, like, it always seems like we're fighting religion as the first.
Yeah.
Whereas the Roman Empire was like, honestly, we kind of like don't care what you guys do as long as you accept that like the emperor is divinely appointed. And that would be so much easier if we could all just like do whatever we want. Like I think of it in a modern scope, if it was like it sounds so cursed to say, but if it was like as long as you all believe that the president of the United States was divinely put into power, have drag brunch. I would be like, yeah, fucking yeah, of course,
sure,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I don't need to die on this hill because I don't care. Yeah,
exactly. So
I mean, realistically, that's what it should be in a sense of like, this president was elected, you must believe it. Don't storm the fucking Capitol, and all will be well. But yeah, that was actually like, I remember learning about this in school. It was actually a pretty big deal because it allowed things like paganism to take root in some areas, or like folklore magic to endure through what likely it could have been like a full-on extinction instead of just like a rarity to stumble across it now if the church had that long of a time to scrub it out.
Yeah. It's interesting. So, kind of cool of them. Everything else they did, not cool. Anyway, this is going to be an excerpt from learnreligion.com because I assume that everyone, much like me, knows nothing. Public school. The apostles, or what I'd call missionaries, Peter and Paul, which again, pause. Isn't it so interesting that like biblical names are Peter and Paul?
Yeah, those weren't their real names.
That was be like for real with me. Like even if we're talking about like Italy, ancient Italy, like his name is Giuseppe, not fucking Paul. Like be for real. And these men were supposed to be from the Middle East. Come on.
No, their names were changed in the Bible. Peter was Simon. Let me look up.
Simon, still I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
Okay, let me slack it to you and then you'll see that it's not as white as you want it to be.
Like I know that Peter's name was Muhammad and you can't fucking tell me otherwise.
Definitely was not. It was Simon. Shimon ben Yonah, and then that's the spelling of it in Hebrew.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So still, it's not. It's more like
right.
Shimon.
Yeah. Let's see. Paul was someone else too.
They
Paul,
couldn't even give him an S name. Like Peter couldn't have been like Sam.
No. What was Paul's? I think Paul was Saul. What was Paul's original name in the Bible? Someone was fucking Saul, man. Yeah, he was Saul of Tarsus. So they just changed their names.
This is like when you go to get your nails done and the clearly Vietnamese Vietnamese lady is like, yeah, my name is Sarah. And you're like, you don't have to lie.
It's right. I'm like, tell me your actual name, and you don't have to, like, I'll fucking learn how to pronounce it. I can say charcuterie board, I can say, which I'm probably saying wrong, and Worcestershire sauce, but I can fuck up your name too, but I'll do my damn best.
Yeah, you tell me how to say it and I'll say it. You don't gotta lie to me, girl. Don't hide
don't
it.
lie to me.
That's how I feel about Peter and Paul. Anyway, Peter and Paul traveled across the Roman Empire spreading the Christian doctrine. Though both Peter and Paul were executed and ultimately martyrs for the cause and later dubbed as saints, Christianity became permanently intertwined with Rome. In 313, girl, Christianity became a legal religious practice, and in 380 CE, it became the state religion.
That is so wild to think of, like, because I don't think of things as, like, that old. It's hard to think of things that were in the hundreds, the year hundreds, the year
scary.
300.
Scary. During the early Middle Ages, the Arabs conquered the Mediterranean territories across northern Europe, Spain, and into Sicily and southern Italy. After 1300, the Islamic community all but disappeared in Italy until migration in the 20th century. In 1517, Martin Luther nailed his 95 Thesis to the door of his local parish, igniting the Protestant Reformation and permanently changing the face of Christianity across Europe. And this is more of a note for me and everyone else who doesn't know religion. Those pages, the 95 of them, detailed Martin Luther's opposition to what, and he was so progressive and right for this, his opposition to what he saw as the Roman Catholic Church's abuse and corruption by the Catholic clergy, who were selling plenary indulgences. Basically, they were selling get out of jail free cards, which they were certificates supposed to reduce the temporal punishment in purgatory for sins committed by the purchasers or their loved ones.
Yeah, literally buying their way into heaven is what they were doing. Yeah.
Yes. So he was so real for that. Little did he know what other atrocities they would commit. Though the continent was in turmoil, Italy remained the European stronghold of Catholicism. The Catholic Church and the Italian government wrestled for control of governance for centuries, ending with the territory unification that occurred between 1848 and 1871. In 1929, Prime Minister, you may have heard of him, Benito Mussolini, signed sovereignty of Vatican City to the Holy See, solidifying the separation between church and state in Italy. And if there's one thing that could just tell you how cursed the Vatican is, it's that fucking Mussolini created it. It's like, they could never be more fucking cursed than that.
I looked for Mussolini everywhere I went. Cannot find anything of him, which obviously, like, why would you? But I was just curious if I could see anything of him. Everything in Florence was dubbed to the Medici family. And they're old. They're like one of the first families in Florence. But I wanted to see some Mussolini. I mean, sucks shirts, you know?
Yeah, it would have been cool to see. It's like we see stupid motherfuckers trotting around with Confederate flags and they fucking lost. Why would we see some Mussolini propaganda? But apparently not. So through the Constitution of Italy, it grants the rights of religious freedom. A majority of Italians are Catholics, and the government still maintains a special relationship with the Holy See. And by special relationship, we mean basically they just suck each other off. There's no separation of church and state. So back to me now. While the Catholic religion has an obvious stronghold in Italy, there is a reason why we specify that this is Southern Italian or Sicilian folk tradition and not just an overarching Italian folk tradition.
Okay.
The gap between the North and South can be explained by history. Arabs, Greeks, and Spanish people reigned in southern Italy, while French, Celtic, and German tribes reign in the north. For this reason, the culture, customs, and even cuisine have been strongly influenced by these different countries. The South has no land borders, so it obviously is mostly influenced by the surrounding Mediterranean Sea. And this, I'll jump around for a second, but this is like, I never realized how many similarities there were between like Greek and Italian folklore until I saw this sentence and I was like, oh, duh. They're closer
Yeah.
cousins than the fucking north and south of Italy.
The architecture, like the Pantheon and everything, it look straight Greek is what it looks like. But also, if you put like Germanic and French together, I don't imagine it's going to be as much fun as like the Greeks and the Spanish. You know what I mean? The
Yeah,
Arab
you
and
have,
Celtic
like-
lore are the wild cards in there, but I would rather hang out with the Greeks and the Spaniards. Than the
Yeah, you
French.
can definitely see, not just when it comes to melanin, but also when it comes to how they are influenced culturally,
Mhm.
the significant difference between the North and the South. It's almost like how the North and the South are completely different in this fucking shithole country we live in. Like,
Indeed.
it's like the different cultures that influence them stayed to those specific sides, obviously due to geography, especially back then. And that's why you get the south of Italy being more, I don't want to say, like, when you see people talk about it online, they almost make it seem like it's more conservative. But I think what they mean by conservative is based in tradition.
Yeah. Yeah. It's also like as you head the more north you get like the Vatican and then you get Milan, like one of the fashion capitals of the world, but then as you head more south, you start hitting like the countryside, more wide open spaces. Like you get like, you know, Florence is a little bit more mid, but like as you go more southern, it's I feel like it just gets a little like there's more area.
It would be like modern city versus like rural landscape.
Yeah.
And that's obviously an oversimplification, but I think that's
don't
like,
quote me on that because everywhere's fucking packed over there. But that's like what the vibe I would get. Yeah.
So let's bring in the now known Benedica of southern Italy. Much like their Mexican Catholic cousins who have blended Catholicism with their now folk roots and traditions, we see everything from, pardon my pronunciations here, novenas, which are prayers, chants, or rituals either done in private or public, repeated for 9 days or weeks, incense, charms, amulets, healing tools, rituals, mudras, which some people may be familiar with. They're the hand gestures often used in yoga and meditations, like the Om is one of them.
Oh, it's not the rings that you put on your finger to know how you're feeling?
Or like that. Or I was probably related.
That's interesting. That's how Naruto fights.
Yeah, like Naruto. Yeah, that like those would be mudras. And they're believed that our 5 fingers correspond to the 5 elements of the universe: water, earth, ether, air, and fire. So that's like depending on what you do. Whatever like Naruto, like hand gesture, does like certain things. And of course, the Malacchio, I'm totally Americanizing that pronunciation, but it's the evil eye.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
A belief that others can cast an evil eye of jealousy, envy, or malice on a person or a personal object, which brings them harm or misfortune. So,
I feel like you skipped a whole hell of a lot.
With what?
With the novenas.
We're going to go into it.
Oh.
Let's dig into it. So, novenas.
I'm sorry. Okay, anyway. The evil eyes everywhere. I saw those. I even brought home an evil eye necklace or evil eye bracelet.
Yeah, we'll talk about the Malocchios.
Yeah, sorry.
They're
I
so
just scrolled
obsessed.
down to like the 3 paragraphs you skipped.
Stop jumping.
I'm sorry. I fucking apologize.
Yeah, as you should. So let's talk. That was my summary. Now let's talk about it. Novenas, often seen as altars, either in the home or in designated areas to pray at, traditionally adorned with shoots of orange or mandarin trees, decorated in flowers, offerings, and the burning of incense, or just honestly burning specific herbs and flowers. I think a lot of people think of incense as like the little sticks that you can get at the gas station to cover the smell of weed in your house, but that's not traditionally it. So anyway, and for people like Chelsea, even the Bible says that smoke helps carry prayers to God.
Yeah,
so
Smoky Highway.
There's your little Christian tie-in.
Nice.
You typically see things common to the area bundled and burned, like olive leaves, sage, rosemary, and of course myrrh, if you could afford it, which was said to open the doors to the other world, and frankincense, which was said to invite divinity. These were often created for ancestors, or, like in the town of Nemi, for the goddess Diana. Similar but different to Princess Diana, the People's Princess.
I found my way back into Princess Diana TikTok, and I think it's because I was shit-talking the monarchy so hard for the past 2 weeks. So
yeah, because of the fucking coronation of that little bitch boy.
Dude, the bitch boy and the little bitch boy's bitch girl.
Ugh, I know, everyone was all like, side chick of the century, and it's like, isn't it actually dark lore to think like that was supposed to be Diana's day?
It makes me sad.
Instead, we have to watch that fucking rotted tampon string.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
How dare he stood
awful.
where she stood.
How dare she breathe the air that she should have breathed.
Stupid.
So, anyway, speaking of Diana's, you can see what's left of a temple known as Diana's Mirror near Lake Nemi. The temple itself was built around 300 BCE, although the site had long been a place of worship before the temple was even built. It is estimated that the site on the shores of Diana's Mirror was an established place of worship since the Archaic period, and some of the offerings found at the site are thought to date back to the early 7th century.
That's fucking old. That's wild.
Oh, girl, it's fucking old. Also, like, crazy, because that, you can see the remnants of it, and it's like, it kind of looks like a mini knocked down version of the Colosseum.
Yeah.
But to think that even as humanity progressed from the 7th century to 300 BCE, it was still using this sacred site and just like growing with it. And whereas when we had like modern Christianity come through, they just burned it all down.
Yeah.
It's interesting to think about like that. This was so well preserved and well respected as a place of worship that you could find artifacts just laying underneath the altars from the 7th century. Because
could you even imagine being there? Yeah, just being there during that time.
Probably seemed kind of cool. Everyone probably had their tits out. And we're just like, I love the goddess of childbirth and stuff like that. And
just having having a single piece of fabric you could tie into a toga and look fucking cute.
Yeah.
And your fabric.
Yeah. Not having to worry about like putting on makeup. Probably cool. I mean, like the discrimination probably whack, but everything else probably cool.
If I could bear children, I think I'd be okay. If you had childbearing hips,
you could potentially thrive.
That's all we would really be, or we could be like an oracle, you know?
Also, like, this was the time when men used to just, like, go away and never come back, so, like, kind of sick.
Mm-hmm. I saw a TikTok earlier that was like, men don't get lost at sea as much as they, like, need to, or they, like, don't just wander off in war often enough.
They just don't go to war and never come back like they used to.
They just never go.
They just never leave for a voyage for 10 years.
Why aren't you like going to far off lands and like writing me dreamy poetry?
Yeah, but like still sending you money.
Yeah.
They just don't do that like they used to.
God. I want to tell someone, come back with your shield or on it and mean it.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, we just don't do it like
no, it's like if he forgets to bring milk home from the grocery store, I'm going to be annoyed because then I have to go get it. That's my struggle now.
Or like, why wouldn't you have filled up the gas tank before you came home? Now I have to wake up early and put gas in the fucking car first.
I thought I was being nice by mowing the lawn. I didn't know you threw grass seeds down. Fuck.
See? The wars continue, but in different ways.
God, the fucking first world problems are insane.
So anyway, as we kind of hinted to, Despite the fact that women were not given positions of power and often did not have authority over themselves, Diana was revered by everyone, the goddess Diana and also Princess Diana. She was the goddess of hunting, despite the fact that hunting was not something that women were usually allowed to participate in. She was the goddess of childbirth and of the moon. She was a working woman, honestly, 3 jobs. Although even goddesses were under the authority of man, unfortunately Jupiter in the case of Diana, she was given much more freedom in her actions, respected and worshipped by everyone. While altars or novenas still exist, you can find some still offering for Diana for family members who have passed, but honestly and unfortunately, some replaced with the nativity scene, or some for specific Catholic saints like Saint Joseph, the patron saint of family life, hand labor, and carpenters. Fun fact, in Italy, Saint Joseph's Day is also known as Father's Day because that's how much they love him.
If you look up novena now, just novenas, it is all Catholic. There is...
Yeah.
It's like all Virgin Mary with Jesus and rosaries.
Yeah, it's all going to be like the altars of the Madonna, if you will, which is the Virgin Mary. But yeah, just honestly an altar. So let's talk about evil eyes and amulets. Big in Italy, and honestly places near it, is the malocchio, or the evil eye. Manifested in an unexplainable headache, fever, or a string of bad luck, is seen as caused by the evil eye. Which is kind of crazy because pretty much anyone can give you an evil eye. It's literally a mean look. You don't have to do any special curses. You don't have to light anything on fire or spit in a sock. It's just giving someone a mean look. And if you super hate someone, you can think a bad thought as you give them the mean look. Or, in the most extreme cases, steal their hair to curse them. And apparently, asking for your hair after a haircut is a big thing for true believers in the malocchio. So this way their enemies can't curse them.
How cool would that be, though, to if you're a hairdresser and someone's like, hey, can I have my hair? Because that's their belief.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
you just don't get any of this cool stuff.
That's what I'm saying. Actually, that is not what I'm saying, because I did get hair recently. When Ty cut his hair off, he put it in a ponytail, and when Ginger trimmed it, he was like, oh, I think I'll keep this and give it to Noelle. And then he did, and I have it, and it's in a frame. So,
oh, man, he has given you so much power now.
That's what I like to say.
It's like he has covered himself in gasoline, and he gave you a lit match, and now he's like, fucking do it.
As he should.
Do it. I'm going to... The next time I have to shave Oliver's back, I'm going to keep a little patch for myself.
You could honestly take some scissors and cut it and put it in a little rubber band. It would look cute.
I bet I could ask him if I could snip off a little lock
just
of hair.
Take a little piece. Yeah, braid it. It'll be cute. And then you have collateral. Mm-hmm. I mean, Ty also has my old IUD in a frame in his kitchen. So I think this is a fair trade.
I would agree. Yeah, I think that is a fair trade, because I wouldn't want to cut off my hair and give it to someone, because normally I just get trims. Not much to work with there. Mm-hmm. But I think I'd probably have to give him my hair because I don't have an IUD to give.
See, you can just, I think maybe 2 inches.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 inches, you get one of those tiny rubber bands. Do you know what I mean? The tiny ones. And then
next time I make a hair appointment, I will ask if I can keep a little snippet of hair.
Yeah, you should. It's a really great gift. And also good collateral for everyone around you. Mm-hmm. So even babies aren't safe from the evil eye and are given a camice della fortuna, which means shirt of luck. It's a silk shirt with red embroidery, and the red embroidery is typically like a Italian saying for good luck, meant to be passed down unwashed to each new generation, which I think is hypocritical, because you're trying to set up this child for good luck and good fortune, and you're giving them a centuries-old, pissed-on, puked-on shirt.
Yeah.
But I guess if
white.
It works. Yeah.
They're cute. I would put my baby in one for like a day, but that's not staying clean.
I don't know. I actually don't know how long they're supposed to wear them. I don't know if there's like
maybe you just give it to them
time.
and they don't.
They have to wear it. They have to wear it. The Italians are obsessed with things happening in 9. You'll find out later. So I wonder if like they mean like 9 days.
Maybe. Is it because it's the Holy Trinity cubed?
I don't know. There was a whole religious studies article that I was reading about the like Roman traditions of mourning happening in days of 9 and how that was then bastardized into early Christian mourning rituals and traditions of 9 days as well. But I didn't read the whole thing because it was literally 20 pages and I wasn't in the mood and I felt like it wasn't giving me anything. But I would assume maybe 9 days.
Oh, that's good. That's going to be crusty.
But, yeah, I think it's going to be crusty when it comes to you because it's coming from generations of sticky babies.
Yeah. Just with breast milk just all over it.
Oh my God. Breast milk that's 50 years old.
Grandma's breast milk. Yeah.
Anyway.
I don't want it.
So, good luck. They're also given La Spilla con un cornicello, which is a pin that has a cornicello or a horn made of gold, coral, or red material. This same little pin will also have a monocortuna, which is an ancient amulet. Mono means hand and corno means horn. It's basically down-facing metal horn, so it's this.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah.
And a more modern take on this will also have the Nazar, which is that blue-eyed shaped amulet, the evil eye protection that everyone's pretty used to seeing. Another evil eye protection is this, I think this is sign language for bathroom. This one right here.
I don't know what that is, but it's like just make a fist, but put your thumb in between your pointer finger and your middle finger.
Yeah. It also, in some cultures, this is the middle finger. This is like the equivalent to the middle finger. But this is another amulet for malloquial protection. So
interesting.
I also want to say that there was a clip of Theo Von talking about they were talking about Italian folk traditions, actually, for some fucking weird reason. And I think it's because the guy he was talking to, his family is Sicilian, and so they believe in all of these things. Mm-hmm. And he was talking about the monocortuna. And when he pulled up the picture of it, Theo Von was like, that looks like something from Dane Cook's merch, online website merch, because it's like the rock on hand upside down in red. And I was like, he's actually so right about that. It's so corny, but that's okay. It's fine. I love that for them. So anyway, that's that. And the big thing is gold, pure gold. Mm-hmm. In Southern Italian culture, and honestly a lot of cultures, they believe that gold itself can prevent babies from getting sick. So that's where you will see a lot of cultures putting gold earrings or gold necklaces on a baby almost the moment they pop out. Mm-hmm. And protects from the evil eye as well. So the evil eye can harm everyone, but especially nursing mothers, babies, bearing fruit trees, milking animals, and the sperm of men.
Oh,
yeah. Which is why the cornicello amulet can be described as a horn, a pepper, or just a phallic-shaped object.
Typhoid Taylor called it a sperm.
She did, and she was so right.
She was right.
The horn is usually hollow and therefore ready to be filled with an abundance of blessings that are being poured into one's life. The top is often decorated with a gold crown to represent success and wealth. The charm is said to bring good fortune, protection, fertility, strength, success, abundance, and wealth. It's kind of the most perfect little guy. You should not buy the charm. It should be gifted unless you were able to get the charm by barter or discount. And this is... I didn't realize this is a thing for all good luck charms or protection amulets. They should be given to you. They should be gifted
okay.
to you. You shouldn't actually
Interesting.
get it for yourself, it is interesting. But don't worry, I got you.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh. Maybe I got you, bitch.
Oh, look at us. Look at us foreseeing the future. And also, mine is from Italy as well. I found a girl, when I read about this, I found a girl on Etsy from Italy, based in Italy, to make it and send it to me.
Wow.
It came through customs. I have the little thing and everything. So,
bitch.
you're about to be blessed. So, and traditionally, quote unquote, men would wear the cornicello because like they were the most concerned about their dicks.
Yeah.
But it is like more modernized, that it's just like the all around protection amulet. And I, especially in obviously southern Italy, so you'll see it worn as a necklace, you'll see it worn as a charm on a bracelet, you'll see it hanging from rear view mirrors in cars, pretty much anything, anywhere, you'll see it. So this is a post from a blog called Rue's Kitchen about the monocortuno, which is the Dane cook hand. The custom of making monocortuno charms from silver, which is a material sacred to the goddess Diana, and or blood coral, which is sacred to the sea goddess Venus, hints at the cultural survival of a link between the horned animal head gesture, so doing like this, putting the heavy metal hands on your forehead, and ancient worship of a Neolithic era mother or fertility goddess, whose consort was a male deity, sometimes called the horned god. Some archaeologists have theorized that the ancient belief in the sacredness of the horned animal head, specifically the bull's head or goat's head, derives from its coincidental resemblance to the female human genitalia, consisting of a vagina, uterus, fallopian tubes, and ovaries.
Get the fuck out.
Do you love that?
I do love that.
Because we've all seen that, like, the memes about, like, menstrual cycles, and it's like, this is the real reason why it hurts like hell, and they show, like, a goat's head or, like, a devil's head.
Yeah.
Like, going around the outline, because the fallopian tubes are the horns, and then the uterus is like the skull, vagina is like the mouth of the horned animal.
Huh.
Kind of heavy metal.
That is heavy metal.
So, another way to protect yourself from the Malocchio is with the Ruta graveolens, commonly known as rue or herb of grace. It's a medical plant herb with yellow flowers used in the Mediterranean regions to treat pain and inflammatory diseases, but its use is limited by its potential toxicity, so, with a grain of salt, if you will.
How toxic is it, though?
I mean, not toxic enough that you can't eat it, obviously, but, like, too toxic that you shouldn't be doing it a lot.
Touché.
The Chima Tura is a protective charm in the shape of the triple-branched sprig of rue. It's said to bring abundance, beauty, and ensure the wearer protection from harm. The Chima Ruta is traditionally made of silver, the metal of Diana, traditionally worn around the neck or hung above a baby's bed to ward off the Malocchio or evil eye. This is more of a quote-unquote feminine amulet or charm, but again, to each their own.
I'm having a hard time keeping up with looking up all these charms and plants, man. Oh, that's weird. That's like a tree with like trinkets as branches. Huh. Okay.
So.
Okay, we may proceed.
All of these things help protect you, but what happens if you've already been got by the Malocchio?
I was about to ask you that. Yeah.
Don't worry, I've got you. So, first one, I've actually already told you and Typhoid Taylor to do.
Wait, I didn't do it. Do you think she did it?
I don't know.
I'll do it later.
Though. And anyone can do it. If you feel like you have been cursed or been having bad luck or just a bad time recently, do it. Fill a bowl with water, pour 3 spoonfuls of olive oil into it, and cut or stab each oil bubble with scissors or a knife. And that's you, breaking the curse. It's also one of those...
So easy.
It's so easy. Everyone's got the tools. It's also one of those things where it seems almost relieving when you do it because you're like physically like cutting something.
Yeah.
Or like, you know what I mean?
Right.
So that one's fun.
Mm.
This one comes from Gail Faith Edwards' blog post where she's telling the specific practitions that her family does, and they're Sicilian. So, depending on family traditions in specific regions, you would commonly include antique keys, which unite male and female energies, fiber ropes or cords to bind, knives or scissors to cut away illness, and mirrors and various weapons to reflect or scare away malevolent spirits. Her elders taught her the use of 3 traditional folk tools to cure the evil eye, as well as a ritual for preparing them. The tools used were a scissor, knife, and an old-fashioned key. Each of these tools is individually dropped to the floor 9 times in succession to activate them. Again, remember 9? I was saying they're obsessed with 9. And this is done each time prior to their use. After their activation, the tools are held in the dominant hand and placed on the head or anywhere on the body that is in pain or discomfort. Then proceed to gently tap or stroke the area, 3 times on the left, 3 times at the center, and 3 times on the right, while repeating a secret prayer. This prayer is unique to each practitioner and depends on your family tradition. It is passed along through the family line, usually by women to daughter, granddaughter, or niece, but can also be shared with a male relative who is interested in healing. Traditionally, it is shared only on 2 nights per year, Christmas Eve at midnight and at midnight before St. Joseph's Day, March 19th, or Italian Father's Day.
Okay.
And the Christmas Eve at midnight thing, this is what I've learned is that this is a night where like you can only teach. Like this is the night of the year where you sit down with like elders or loved ones or respected friends or anyone who's trying to like bestow the gifts of the like culture or folklore or so traditions.
It's not something that they just show you daily. That's the only time you get to learn it.
Yes. Yeah. So the next one you may have heard of or seen because a lot of other cultures use it as well across the world, not just around the Mediterranean, which again is very interesting to me. I love when we have cultural synchronicities. Super fun. And this is the egg cleanse. An egg cleanse is, so the egg is cleansed in either holy water or smoke, depending on what practice you choose to do, because this is something that modern day Catholics like to do as well. The egg is then rolled over the body of the affected, paying special attention to any area of the body where pain is experienced, or if you believe you just have a full body curse, you would just do, the whole body starting from the head. It is believed that the egg absorbs any sickness or negative energy. After doing this for approximately 15 minutes, the egg is taken, broken, thrown into a toilet, or flushed. It could also be taken out of the house and buried underground. Some people like to crack an egg in water, and if you see like spindling little like pieces of, I wouldn't know, like yolk, like little stringies, that's supposed to be the visualized actual negative energy, like that was cursed on you. You could see videos of it if you're interested. And so now that we know how to protect ourselves and what to do if we get got, and also how to keep peace by creating altars in our home for our family members, our ancestors, or if we prefer religious saints, or maybe a little nativity scene, whatever your heart desires. let's just go over some fun superstitions, because whenever you have two cultures, one rigid and one fluid, smashing together, you get just unexplainable superstitions.
Yeah.
First one, don't take a bath when you're sick.
But that's when I want to take baths the most.
I agree. I was upset by this one. I think this one comes from probably the same reason why you're not supposed to like if Hebrews don't eat pork because it was like unsanitary.
Yeah.
I think this comes from don't get your hair wet when you're sick because you don't have a blow dryer back then.
Yeah, or you're gonna taint the water for everyone else.
Yeah. Yeah. So just don't do it.
Okay.
17 is the unlucky number to Italians, not 13.
Oh.
And I was curious if you experienced this, but you stayed in like a villa, so I don't think you would have. Some hotels in Italy don't have a 17th floor or a room 17 because the number is considered unlucky, which is very similar to I remember in LA this happened a lot. There would be no 13th floor or there would be no room 13. But for Italians, this is because the Roman numeral for 17 is XVII, but when rearranged, it looks like VIXI, which means I have lived, and is the symbol that's placed on ancient tombstones and associated with death.
Interesting.
So.
Interesting. I'm not one to judge on hating numbers.
I know, little Miss OCD over here can't wrap her head around this one.
That's what, the numbers rearranged is weird. I'm like, okay.
I know, like, what dyslexic was like, we can't fucking use this.
Yeah, it was a dyslexic person, I was just gonna say.
He was like, oh my fucking God, it says the death symbol. Another one is, and this is another cultural synchronicity, so across the world, I know this is a big thing in feng shui. Don't place your bed with your feet facing the door. It invites death. Because that's how you're carried out of a room when you die.
Damn. Oh, I got some rearranging to do.
Is your bed facing the door?
My feet face the door, yeah. Gotta fix that later.
Maybe just like turn it a little bit.
Yeah, I'll sleep sideways. I don't know what to
do. Don't place a loaf of bread upside down. This is because a loaf of bread must always be placed facing up, who's placing bread upside down?
I don't know. This one I'm gonna I'm gonna 100% agree with, because there's a functionality to the shape of bread, and if you're fucking with that, you're messing with nature itself, and you deserve bad things. Yeah,
I agree. And the reason they do it is because bread is considered a symbol of life, therefore it is bad luck to turn the bread upside down to stick a knife into it. Also, like, I can imagine that, someone flipping a loaf of bread upside down and basically carving it like they're fucking slitting the throat of a kill, and it's like, it's bread. Calm down.
No, you know who fucking does this?
Who?
You, bitch! You came over to my house. I'm fucking looking at you, and you were cutting fabric like an ape with my rotary cutter.
That was different.
You were like scooping it towards you like you were scooping ice cream, or like you were rowing a fucking boat.
That was
you
different.
Do this.
That was different.
No.
That's not bread, girl. That's fabric.
You're cutting fabric like you're rowing a boat, and it made no sense.
I would never do that to bread. There's a right and a wrong way to do things.
You shouldn't do that to fabric either.
Do that to bread. Watch where you lay your hat. When you get home, you might be tempted to toss your hat on your bed. Don't. Putting a hat on a bed is considered unlucky because it's associated with death. I think cowboys also believe in this one, that it's bad luck to put your cowboy hat on your bed, or even hang it on your bedpost, like you have to hang it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I know there's that Toby Keith song, Should Have Been a Cowboy, where he says he never hung his hat up in Kitty's place.
What does that mean?
I don't, well, he liked this girl named Kitty, and he never put his hat where she used to sit. I don't know. I have nothing to offer.
We should ask him.
Okay. I'll write him a letter after I'm done writing Suzanne Cohen.
Yeah, you got a lot of letters to write. And then this superstition even goes into like Catholic Christian lore, because they'd say that the priest would take his hat off and put it on the bed when giving you your last rites.
Oh, that does make sense then.
So it's
Yeah.
another one that like throughout like all different cultures, it's bad luck to put your hat on a bed. So don't fucking do it.
I'm not. I'm fucking not.
Watch out for brooms. If
Ooh.
someone brushes over your feet by accident, you are destined to be single for the rest of your life.
You want to know why? Because if you broom my feet, I kill you and I go to jail. And that's the only way. That's so fucking rude. If you're brooming my feet, what if I just painted my toenails and then you muck up my nail polish?
Also, who's brooming over feet? But I think this is another one that's like meant for the person sweeping, because it's supposed to be like, if you're such a bad housewife that you would have swept over your own feet when cleaning up a mess, you deserve to be to no one.
Yeah.
It's like a little sexist, if you will.
A little bit. If I'm brooming over my own feet, then I do deserve the worst.
Yeah, what are you doing? Get it together.
Yeah.
Touch iron. So you often hear knock on wood to avoid tempting fate, but in Italy, it's common for people to tocco ferno or touch iron.
Yeah, that's how you get rid of fairies, too. They're allergic to iron.
Yeah. Keep the iron on you, girl.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, another one I didn't put on here, but it's like, it's another synchronicity of culture. Putting a horseshoe above your door for good luck and to ward off bad. And there's a special, I think it's supposed to be like up. Like, I think those horseshoes supposed to be up. It could be down. I don't remember. Look it up. Look it up. It's not my fucking fault if you fuck it up. But depending, it has to be a certain way. Put it over your door.
Yeah. It can go the other way, just ain't gonna work right.
It's just not going to be
good. It's just decor.
I honestly think it's kind of like a switch. If you do it the wrong way, bad things will happen.
I don't know. Don't say that, because my sister does have an upside down horseshoe tattoo.
Oh, you better look it up. Oh, you better. Oh my God.
Uh-huh.
What? Let's see. What?
Oh my God, and she listens to podcasts. Becca, hold on, we'll fix it.
Horseshoe have to be for good luck. According to this superstition, ends pointing down simply means that the good luck is able to flow out and surrounding the home. If the horseshoe is hung over a doorway with ends up, it will catch good luck.
Yeah, it's like a cup. You can't spill it. So she's just spilling good luck.
Yeah. Hung over a door with ends down, it will let the good luck spill over the door and stop evil from entering. So you want it down. So she's good. Like this?
It's down. Hanging it with the ends pointing down just means your good luck falls out. You want it up like this so it catches the luck like a cup. Ends pointing up catches good luck because it's a cup.
Yeah.
Ends pointing down, it spills it out.
Well, it's supposed to be, if you put it over a doorway, you want ends down because it will let the good luck spill over the door and stop evil from entering. Oh,
well, she's good for her. She has spilling good luck on her butt.
Maybe she's just being selfish with her luck.
Maybe that's
it.
Maybe she needs to be. She needs to be selfish now and then.
Yeah.
So
glad we figured that out. Mm-hmm. And another one, which I thought was interesting because I didn't think lentils were like Italian, but again, I need to think Mediterranean because we're talking about southern Italy. Eat lentils on New Year's.
My family does this.
Do they?
Yeah. That and also like white beans. But yeah, lentils are in the Bible. That's a big deal. Yeah.
I bet lentils are in the Bible because they're like a super like abundant, easy, cheap,
and they're also delicious.
Fulfilling, delicious, yeah. But the reason being is that they're coin shaped, so they're supposed to bring you good fortune.
Mm-hmm. I'll make you a lentil soup on New Year's so you can have good luck.
Yeah, I used to do like Chinese food on New Year's, but I think I might move to lentils. It would be very vegan of me to move to lentils, honestly.
Yeah, I have like a ton of like, I went through a lentil phase last year and I have a bunch of like old like lentils. I have like green lentils, red lentils. I'll make a Christmas.
You were gonna say old lentils, and I appreciate you not saying that, but
I know I shouldn't say old lentils because I don't think like lentils, like grain like that, having it since last summer, I don't think is like that bad.
Yeah. I mean, what's the worst that's happened to old grain? The Salem witch trials? Come on. It's fine.
Yeah, I think it's fine. If we'll just eat it with a horseshoe.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
It'll be perfect. I will say I keep a horseshoe in my car. People know this. And it has since prevented all of my bad luck with the car and driving. So, maybe there's something to it.
You got to do an everything bagel when it comes to protecting yourself. You got to throw everything at the wall and see what sticks. Nothing wrong with it.
I agree. I think there's nothing wrong, especially these are so harmless and fun.
Yeah.
Who doesn't like a little fun? Who doesn't like a little protection amulet,
I don't like protection amulets. I love protection amulets.
That is actually the perfect sentence. That is actually perfect. And you know what I love even more than traditional protection amulets is people who make special protection amulets. They get little tiny jars and they put little special trinkets and little special things and they seal it on up and they put it on a little necklace for you. I think that's lovely.
That should be our girls' night. I make one for you, you make one for Typhoid Taylor makes one for me, like a circle. Or we each contribute to the other person's. So I contribute to yours and Typhoid's and vice versa. And then that's trinkets.
That's a good idea. That is such a good idea. Love that. Also, it feels like the same thing as you never pour your own drink or you never pour your own shot. Feels like the same energy. I bet they're related. But anyway, that's it. That is Southern Italian folklore in a nutshell.
I love that so much. I didn't get to see any of that. But I bet if now that if you go to the fringes.
You said that you saw the evil eye protection everywhere, yeah?
Yeah, actually, you're right. I did buy an evil eye bracelet while I was there. It's made out of glass. It's super cool.
And the cornicello is not just seen as the horn, but it's also seen in a lot of Italian kitchens as just the dried up red peppers. So what you would think as everyday 90s decor in an Olive Garden is actually like a protection amulet. Good luck charm.
Yeah. So we got to get peppers, and we got to get not brooms. I guess brooms if we really hate someone, we can broom their feet.
Yeah, broom their feet. Also, you're supposed to sweep out on the 1st of every month. You're supposed to sweep everything out your front door. Another one was salt. But I think that's a pretty across the board superstition. Don't drop if you spill salt, you're supposed to throw a little over your shoulder, and that's just because salt was worth. Oh my god, I'm gonna fuck this up, but please forgive me. I'm going off of my memory, which is barely there. But salt is basically the first form of currency. It was the most expensive thing that you could ever have and obtain, and its value was insurmountable. That even the Latin root word of salt is where we get the word salary from.
Oh, okay. That is interesting.
Isn't that interesting? So
I always heard that if you spilled salt, you had to throw it over your left shoulder so the devil wouldn't get you. Same with eyelashes. If you have an eyelash on your cheek, yeah, flick it.
I've never heard the eyelash. I heard the eyelash you're supposed to blow away and make a wish, but I have heard salt over your left shoulder. I think that's one that pretty much everyone has,
yeah.
But it's another one that I think comes from the worldly obsession with salt as one of the most precious things you could have.
I'm obsessed with salt, so...
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I get the energy. So... Oh, no!
Aw, what happened? Someone poop?
No. I used to have all those lights, the Christmas lights in the fireplace, and they all died. They all burnt out. It was half burnt, and now it all burnt out. Dang.
Bad luck.
Who's gonna find freaking Christmas lights on May 18th? Anyway, that is Italian. That's me saying Southern Italian at the same time. Southern Italian folklore in a nutshell.
I loved that. I love folklore so much, and I'm so glad that we're both going elbow deep into it because I want to have a folklore home, and this is the way to do it.
I agree. I'm very excited to build the foundation on folklore and tradition.
Yeah, everyone should embrace it with open arms. So.
So yeah, that's basically that on that. And if you want more of that, but less of this, go to the link in all of our bios. We are at Go to Hell Podcast. I am at Noelle Fain. That is at Sith Lord. And in that, you can find a link tree, which will bring you to our Patreon. New episode out, dollar gets you in. You can also find a link to Kelly Holloran or at Wildwood Owl on Etsy. She makes super cool merch and stickers and art for us and also for herself in like the state of Michigan, so go check that out. You can also find a link to our Discord server, our Facebook group for the boomers, and I don't know why you'd need it, but links to listen to us, which is honestly anywhere where podcasts are heard. And now more than ever, especially today, on this truly miserable day where not Florida, I need to be better about this. It's not the people of Florida, it's the people who run Florida are becoming my mortal enemy, specifically Ron DeSantis passing laws that now extend past persecuting children, but are now persecuting trans adults, basically making them get permission slips signed from multiple board certified, quote unquote, like psychologists, doctors, and whatever. But to be board certified, they have to be appointed by Ron DeSantis himself. So he's basically setting them up for failure so that they can get gender affirming care. And it is just wild to see modern day fascism really take hold and grow, obviously in pockets of this country, but the fact that it's happening at all is I don't even have the words for it. There's no word that covers how upsetting it is for me and for everyone. It's like disheartening is even too light of a term to explain it. It feels, and I don't want to say helpless or hopeless because it's not, but it just feels like a lot right now. So I know that this would piss him off more than anything. So that's why I want to give a massive hail Satan. And may all the powers that be curse Ron DeSantis and his family for generations. May the Malocchio follow him everywhere he goes. May every piss burn and may every shit bleed.
Yeah, I'll say hail the person who brooms his feet.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. Alright, well, should we get the hail out of here?
Yeah, let's get the hell out of here.
Alright, bye!
Bye!